If you hear the murmuring in the background, it's because of the fan. Okay. Good morning, guys. This is my first attempt at doing a full day vlog or come to work with me, crochet with me, study with me, talk with me, pretty much. I'm on my way to work, so my husband and I are co-owners of a hagwon, co-operators of a hagwon, which is a private school system that they have in Korea, and specifically we are an English private school, like a smaller English academy, if you would. And so I'm on my way to teach a group of senior citizens. They are so sweet. So I thought I would at least share some of the things I'm putting in my bag, because why not? People usually like seeing packing stuff. So I actually have to bring my iPad, and I'm going to open this notebook when I'm in the school, because it's something satisfying about opening new things and then directly using it. So this is a notebook that has, the pages are split into quarters, and I feel like I'm at a stage with my language studying, but specifically for Korean, where I need to put certain words on a scale and be able to reason why I believe they belong there and when to use it in examples. So hopefully I get to share that today. I also have a small notebook that I want to use to create my diary, or to create different situations for when to use certain words. Or maybe this is my quick guide to level up your Korean book. I don't know. I find it really helpful when I create guides for other people when it comes to studying my own stuff, because that helps me figure out how well I understand everything that I'm learning. So, other than that, I also have these two notebooks that I have been using for different reasons. This one is for the Korean test, the Korean class based on the Korean exam, which is called the TOPIK 2 exam. So I have a lot of notes scattered here that I want to put into these new notebooks. And I also have some, oh wait a minute, actually I don't need this book, because this book has the answers, has my answer key to filling out this workbook, which I highly recommend. I am at level 3A right now, and it's filling in all of those gaps that I notice in my own language journey. So for example, I feel like I'm comfortably in this level 3 book. Like I could go through it and not struggle as much because I know most of the grammar, but there's some words that I never had to use in my situation. Like chapter 1 started with like college life, right? But when I came to Korea, I just started as an English teacher, so I didn't need to use all of the vocab for like, what's the word for lecture, what's the word for like I don't know how to describe it, but I'm learning vocab here, and I'm also perfecting the grammar that I knew about and I use regularly, but I never really 100% grasped why the grammar points are like that. So that's why I'm following through with the 3A book. I might go through to the 3B and 4A and 4B like this. That's how the Seoul Korean workbook system works. And so I'm not bringing this with me because I feel like that's overkill. One thing that I highly recommend for anyone trying to create a new habit for building a skill is just don't overdo it. I know I do this workbook well when I'm at home and I have my home desk, so I'm not gonna try and bring it to work and then cause extra stress when I know I want to crochet. So I'm also bringing my crochet stuff. I had just finished up the Yoshi version of the Azores top by Pointel Crochet. I love Elle, and she also is the designer of this top that I tested for her. So very excited I get to make a 4th top in my favorite Mario character colors. And as you can see, it's white, and then there's some red for the mouth, and then the tongue is actually pink. So those are the 3 colors that I have. I don't think I'm getting to the pink section at all. There's a small chance I'll get to the red, so I'm gonna bring the red with me. And yeah, what I have in my bag is going to be my, what? It's gonna be my iPad, a couple of my notebooks. Luckily, I saved myself from that extra notebook. And I do have another new notebook, but I don't think I'm gonna bring it with me yet because I would rather, again, like I said, I would rather perfect what I am learning and create a system that works for going to work. Because mind you, I'm bringing this to work and I'm gonna use it in my downtime, which I'll explain a little bit more when I'm at work. I think that's it. You're getting the nature. I have the window open because in the morning it's cooler than in the daytime in Daegu. So we're saving as much as we can on using the AC to, you know, cool down the house. So I got a fan. Yeah, I'm gonna pack and then I'm going to hopefully take some clips of me in the bus because usually I'm in a car in order to go to work with my husband. But on Mondays, I teach in the morning first, and so I go by myself. So yeah, in fact, I'm gonna start packing now. All right, this is my bag, and if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Are you tiptoeing? That's okay, that's okay. It's a natural vlog, so you don't have to worry. You're lucky I'm not turning the camera around.
Yeah, really quick, can you see? I know.
Okay, okay. Alrighty. Just wanted to introduce you. Realization. I said I would get out of here by 8:30, and it is 8:40, which is great. Because who needs to be on time, honestly? Like, why? Why should we be on time for leaving? Doesn't make sense to me. Okay, I have the hook, I have the headphones, and I'm gonna put everything I need in the bag, and then we are gonna run. Okay guys, so this is part 2 of my vlog. I don't know where I'm gonna go with this today, but the main goal is for me to just post something. So anyway, part 2 of my vlog. I'm at work and you could probably hear some noise in the background. That is actually my students. So like I said, I come in the mornings on Mondays in order to teach some senior citizens. I love them so much. They're awesome. They're young, they're fun. They're just really, I don't know how to describe them, but I hope they know how much I care for them as both a class and just as people. They're just so awesome. And this is me in the office side, giving them a 10-minute break. And what I should do during this time is upload the YouTube video that I was working on during my hour-and-a-half-ish commute here. And so I hope in the future to be able to do every step of this process a bit more effectively. I tried to take a video when I was in the taxi because I actually took a taxi to get here on time instead of arriving 10 minutes late. Yesterday was the beginning of a typhoon, so we're kind of in the middle of a typhoon right now, but it's not raining. Not raining yet. It rained a lot last night, and you could see a little bit of the overflow in some of the streams that are in Daegu, but anything else I could think of to share during this time? Not really. Not really. So I'm going to finish this class. It's a 2-hour class, so once 11 o'clock comes, then I'm going to teach for the last hour. Hopefully I'll get picked up by Hale in order for me to go to the government, a government office in order to get some extra money. That's always fun. To be honest, I never thought I would be the person to talk the way that I'm talking now in front of the camera, so I'm running out of things to say, but I know in the future I'll be a lot more confident in what I have to share with you guys in my day-to-day life. I feel like it's gonna come in bits and pieces as I record. And I just want to show the natural growth of me doing these kind of vlogs. I feel like there's pros and cons to what I'm doing now, but just let me know what you guys think as far as how I'm doing so far. I think that's all I got because there is some background content happening, so yeah, I'm gonna get to it, possibly get a clip or two of me actually teaching, or if not, you'll see me erasing the board. And then yeah, see you soon. So I forgot to film most of the stuff, but we're on our way to, we're not on our way, we're almost at, we're literally right next to the building for receiving some money. Okay, so I'm home, and usually I would be home for a while before starting work, but again, Mondays are a bit weird, and it just so happened that I had to go to a little office, not a little office, but I had to go to the office in order to receive this card. And so it's a powerful Daegu card, and apparently the new president made a promise. The new president of Korea made a promise to give free money, and so certain residents are allowed to receive said free money. I happen to be married to a Korean, and so that just worked out. And so I have a little bit of extra cash, and I can't use it yet. So for now, it's just nice to hold. And it's good that it's not like an official card, it's more like a gift card. But yeah, so for lunch, I have some bibimbap, I guess, and I also just boiled some cucumbers. Now, you might think it's weird that I literally just have boiled cucumbers and bibimbap. There's shrimp that's cooking in the air fryer that I'm gonna add to this, but this is pretty much my go-to, like a vegetable, a carb, and a protein. It just helps me. And sometimes I watch Korean content on my iPad, but today I want to prepare myself for the rest of the day. And I know I'm going to be using Korean quite a lot and studying during my free time when I'm in the office. So for now, I'm watching, which channel? I think it's on the Beta channel. I want to say it's on Beta Squad, but these days I've been watching a lot of British content on YouTube when I'm not watching Korean content, and I don't know why, but it's just this is Beta Squad, but they got like a million channels because each individual person has their own channel. But yeah, I don't know when and why I started this rabbit hole, but I just tend to find that there's a lot of long form content in British YouTube right now, and I also like the variety show vibe or the randomness of it. Like this episode is Trapped in Prison, and they uploaded it a day ago, and the other day they had Ed Sheeran there trying to guess the singer. So I just like the randomness and the variety without like the same thing every day. So that's what I'm watching if you're curious. And yeah, I don't know whether to just start or not, but I'm just gonna press the cut button, pretend that I'm eating, or really eat. I'm gonna eat.
Time to get a good start, AJ. Get someone to laugh, but do not be obvious.
Hey, what's up? How's it going? I'll give you guys a little disclaimer for my style of comedy. My style of comedy has been described as dark. It's been described as edgy. It's been described retrospective.
이거 뭐였어?
이거 A.
A 맞아 A.
LA.
자 그러면
LA. 직원당.
이거 뭐야?
네.
배. 그렇지. 자 얘들아 그럼 이거 어떻게 읽어? 자 얘들아 받아쓰기 할 때 니들 이렇게 이게 정답인데 이렇게 많이 적어. 오케이? 얘들아 앉아봐. 이제 앉아봐. Sit down please.
시탄.
The other one or is okay?
If you laminate the other one, it'll be good too, because Okay guys, so this is getting towards the final parts. I guess I'll do one more when I'm at home, I'm not sure. But I wanted to do a good chunk of something here because I crocheted for a little while today in between classes, breaks. So basically, my husband and I co-teach each class. So there's 25 minutes of Hale teaching, and then I teach the last 25 minutes. So each class is 50 minutes, but it's like tag teaming, which I think is awesome because the students don't have to worry about being bored for 50 minutes with just one teacher, or even if both of us were teaching at the same time, it could be boring to not have any kind of change or even a different shift from what to focus on in the book or what to focus on in each lesson. So with that in mind, I really like this system for the students as well as for us, of course, because I teach for 25 minutes, I give my best energy, and by the time that energy is done, you know, it's already 25 minutes have passed, and then we have a 5-minute break, and then Hale teaches, and then I teach, and then rinse and repeat. So I really like the system. With that in mind, we taught 4 classes. I didn't touch this project in between each break because there was one time where I was editing a different video to post on TikTok. There was another time when parents came or students came early, so I just had them sit in one section and we would silently play Jenga. Then because this is the beginning of the month, some parents came in order to pay for this month's fee, this month's tuition, and yeah, so after the 4 classes, I have roughly 2 hours before students come in for the very last class of Monday. And so I wanted to focus 1 hour on this, which in the beginning of the day, this was basically nothing. This is the beginning of the boo top for the Azorius top. And yeah, you'll see more of this, I'm sure. But for now, I wanted to focus on the other stuff that I brought with me to work, which was I brought my pen and paper and other things, as well as those new books. So I'm gonna open them fresh, because why not? And I'm not gonna open them in the standard way. So I'm not gonna talk, so this way I can mute this. Just a second. It's not the cutest unboxing you've ever seen, but it's something. So we have blank note. This is amazing. And I'm excited to use this because it's already split. Each page is already split in quarters. And I wanted to record how I'm going to use this book for the amount of vocabulary I have to study every week. So a lot of studying vocab or studying for language learning involves grouping vocab. So I want a space where I can group them in a way that makes sense, so I could randomly give categories or symbols, so I could rewrite them later in a way that makes sense for me, and then I could put them on a scale, on an XY graph. And I could say like from negative to positive, useful to least useful, or maybe it could be spoken versus written, casual versus formal. I mean, there's so many ways that I could create a scale and put it in this empty space, and I feel like that's similar to how my brain works when it comes to comparing similar concepts. And I wanted to explain it partly so that when I highlight what I'm doing, you could kind of see why it works for me. And I'm gonna just let y'all know now, I'm gonna try my best to record some quality content of me studying, but I'm not gonna turn this into a 40-minute study session video. However, if you are interested in that kind of stuff, then maybe I will make one day where it's literally just study with me and I try to say everything I'm writing out loud and how it connects. I'm interested in making those videos as well, but I'm just throwing out these daily vlogs to see what you guys vibe with. I know what it's like to search for things that you want to watch while you're crocheting, and so I thought days in my life kind of help because there's so many random things that I want to talk about my life that I can't even like express or show to my family because it's like, where do I begin? I have spent years just being like, yeah, I'm in Korea, but not really showing how much my career has evolved over time, to the point where, like, even this school, me and my husband are found, like, we're rebranding this school. We pretty much own it, and we have time to build the student clientele. We already started off with going on almost 30 students, and it's slowly growing, so I'm grateful for that. That's a side tangent, but yeah, let's get into opening the other notebook that I brought with me. I'll be quiet again. Yes. I will throw those out later, but I don't have a trash can under here. But yes, so this is a regular notebook. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with it. I want it to be small writings. Like every day I'm just doing small writings about my emotions, things that I'm proud of, just practicing sentences with the grammar points that I study every day. Because I'm at a stage now where grammar is similar to vocab. I have enough grammar and vocab to express myself in quite a few situations, like a lot of situations, but I want to be able to do it more fluidly, more naturally. I have been able to watch a lot of Korean content without subtitles because my husband is Korean and we watch stuff together, and sometimes the English subtitles aren't available on YouTube or even in Korean Netflix. Some of the shows that are really interesting don't have the English subtitles, and it's a long story. I'm using my parents' Netflix at the moment, and I also do hair, but I don't want to put on a VPN and then it catches me and says, oh, you haven't been in your parents' Wi-Fi for a while, so we could temporarily add you. Last time I did that, it did work for like 3 months instead of 2 weeks, but I wasn't complaining at all, and I might have to just buy my own Netflix account. There's just so many little things that I could talk about in this vlog, but let's focus. So, cool. I have my content here. I have my pen and pencil, eraser, and other things in here, and I'm going to open up my iPad, and honestly, I messed up already because I have to use my phone to download this week's vocab list for the Korean exam class I'm taking. So I'm gonna download those and share it with my iPad, and then I'm gonna come back and talk about what I study and how. Okay, so here is a perfect example of what I mean by I have the grammar, I have the vocab that I can get by with, but there's so much vocab and there's so much grammar for Korean specifically that it requires me to think of ways that words connect in order for me to use these new words, if that makes sense. So let's look together. Let's talk about it together. And even if you're not studying Korean, I guess if I explain it this way, you'll understand like the thought process and how I try to connect these words so that it's not overwhelming. Okay, so for example, this is my random Korean book, and it's falling apart because it's almost finished, and I just have to write on the backs of some of them, but the first one that I see is 구입하다, which is purchase. Okay, cool. It has an example sentence, and so 새 휴대폰을 구입했다. Okay, but I also know that 사다 is to buy, and you could imagine that I use buy a little bit more often than purchase. So I could assume 구입하다 is probably used on websites, and to be honest, I have seen it a few times on websites like Coupang, or even sometimes if I'm doing online shopping, it could use this word, and I could assume it means purchase, but you know, now it's good to see it in plain sight. So I have 구입하다, which is purchase, I have 사다, which is buy. But I also know that there's 구매하다, which I could get confused with, I'm guessing this is sell. And I'm gonna search this before I put this in, I'm gonna search this before I put the English definition next to it, but I do know gumehada, and I know it enough to forget it, right? That's crazy. But okay, let me go to Papago, because at least I'm still not at the Naver dictionary. I'm not at Naver dictionary level. There's no excuse. I could use Naver dictionary. I just like Papago. I don't know if it's the bird or the fact that I could use it for pictures and other things, but right now, okay, gumehada is a more formal version of purchase, but then guiphada is also purchase. So I'm guessing gu is some kind of, yeah, okay. The fun thing is Papago says that both of these words are also formal. So I'm wondering the difference there, and I am assuming this has something to do with hanja, because it feels like gu is doing something related to buying stuff, and maybe ip and me have different meanings. I remember ip meaning enter as a hanja character, but this might not be that, like buy and enter, versus me. I can't remember the hanja for that right now. So I talk out my connections with these vocab words. I write them out in a way that groups them, and I try to use prior knowledge to understand how these new words could be similar, connected, compared, or even add different colors to the words that I would express myself with in a simpler way. And so, for example, if I'm trying to use guiphada, the first thing I could think of for guip is a button from coupon that says guip instead of guiphada. Or maybe gume is also on a button. I have to ask Hale about this, or maybe I'll ask friends about it. And so that's just the first vocab word out of, how many words are in this list this time? 83. So my class is on Saturdays and Sundays from 9:30 to 12:30. So 3 hours Saturday, 3 hours Sunday. And there's one vocabulary list with 83 words for Saturday, for Saturday's vocab quiz. And then on Sunday, there's another list with probably 83 new words for Sunday's class. So as you can see, there's not much time between Saturday and Sunday, so I basically have 1 week to study roughly 160 words. Luckily, all of these words are not new to me. Like last weekend was fantastic. I think I only had to study like 40 words because I knew the others, which is great. I'll take it. The first few weekends, I'm not gonna lie, I only knew 40 words out of 150, so I had a lot of words to study. And I'm hoping this time is a mix somewhere in the middle, or it would be great if I already know the words. It's great if I don't know the words for the reasons that I was just talking about, because I want to express myself more naturally. The more words I know, the more I can understand, the more I could copy like a parrot and feel like I'm expressing myself accurately. So I'm gonna walk you through a couple more of these words, and then you might see a sped up version of me writing things down, or I might just talk about another tip for how I study vocab a little later on. So this is what I mean by, please let me know if this is fun or interesting to you, because when I tell you 45 minutes of me studying as like a straight video is kind of going through my process as a linguist, my process as a polyglot in the making, hopefully, if I'm not there already, but also as a teacher, as someone who has effectively worked in the country that the target language is spoken regularly in. So yeah, yeah, there's so many interests that I have, and each of them I try to put myself in it deeply, and so that's its own thing. The second word I'm seeing here is 관심을 끌다, and that means to attract attention. Now, I saw another word last weekend or 2 weekends ago, And I didn't get to study this word deeply, but I wonder if I could find it so that I could compare these two and hopefully remember both of them a little bit more clearly. Because I don't really use attract attention, but I think that it's important for me to know it. So 관심을 끌다. Well, I already know that 관심 means like interest. So I also know that 관심이 있다. 관심이 있다 means like to be interested. 관심이 있어요. Yeah, it means like to be interested, I think, if I had to translate it. So I could be interested in an event. I could be interested in participating in said event, or I could just be interested in the event idea. 관심을 끌다. Now, 끌다, I should know. I don't know. I thought it meant close or turn off. I mean, maybe it could mean turn on. So turn on interest, attract attention. But I don't really know 끌다 right now. Maybe it'll come to me. Attract attention. 그 광고는 소비자의 관심을 끄는데 성공했다. Okay. 품절. I'm gonna move to the next word because I can't give that. I know that 매력 is charm. 매력적인 could be charming. I'm gonna actually I'm gonna add this to 관심을 끌다. 매력적인 for like charming. And I also could think of a word for trendy. I think that's 유행. I think that could be trendy. Trendy could be attention seeking, right? Like a trendy sound. If you use a trendy sound, then it causes people to like pay attention to you or your content. So I think like that. So moving on to the third word, I'm thinking 품절, out of stock. Well, I already know a lot of words that use 품. I'm guessing 품 is like item that you could buy, like product. So we have 제품, we have 상품, we have 식품. I learned another 품 last weekend, but I can't remember. 작품 is like a work of art, I think. A work of art or a product of art. So there's a lot of 품 words, and I think 절 must mean something related to taking away, for it to be out of stock. So out of product. 절 must be like run out or literally empty. I'm not sure. 평소, I really didn't know this. 평소 means usually or ordinarily. I wonder how it's different from 보통, which also means usually. I'm also curious about how it's different from 원래, originally. I wonder how it's different from ordinarily. I think my students are here. Okay, I'll talk to you soon.